Well, folks, Donald Trump was riding high over the weekend on a straw poll from the Turning Point Action Conference in Tampa, Florida, that showed him beating all other Republicans in the straw poll, of course, of these young voters, beating them not just by double digits, but by dozens of percentage points. In fact, in the straw poll, Donald Trump was winning. The closest person to him was trailing him by 60 points. So Trump was loving it, right? Everything was great. And then, of course, Monday morning came crashing down on him like a ton of bricks. On Fox and Friends on Monday morning, they talked about this straw poll that showed Donald Trump, kicking ass in the 2024 Republican primary. But those hosts who once loved Donald Trump and he once loved them pointed out that all of the other polls don't show this. In fact, Ron DeSantis is pretty much the front runner now for the Republican nomination, according to the latest polls. He's now beating Donald Trump, again, by double digits. So Trump freaked out. How could his former friends sitting on that Fox and Friends couch turn on him and claim that TPUSA straw poll was the outlier, when in fact Donald Trump says all the other polls that show the opposite are totally the ones that are inaccurate? Here's what Trump said via Truth Social on Monday. Fox and Friends just really botched my poll numbers, no doubt on purpose. That show has been terrible. Gone to the dark side. They quickly quote the big Turning Point poll victory of almost 60 points over the number 2 Republican and then hammer me with outliers. Actually, almost all polls have me leading all Republicans and Biden by a lot. Rhino Paul Ryan, one of the weakest and worst speakers ever, must be running the place. Anyway, thank you to Turning Point. The crowd and love was amazing. For some reason, he had love in quotation marks. I'm not exactly sure what that means, because when you put it in quotation marks, that means you're trying to imply something that either wasn't there or something that was different than what the word is you're using. So I don't know what that's about. But I love the fact, and by love I mean hate, that this guy Donald Trump can go out there and point to one poll and be like, hey, this one that shows something different from all of these other polls, this is the correct one. And every one of these other polls by other individuals, by conservative groups, by independent groups, by colleges, all of these are outliers. Like, totally wrong, totally wrong. This one that's wildly different from everything, this is the real one. And I'm going to take the real one and I'm going to put it inside this special little box right here. And I'm going to love it. And it's going to grow and be wonderful. Well, as I've said, Donald Trump, of course, not the smartest guy out there, right? He doesn't know exactly how polling works. And let's be real here. Polling in the United States, politically speaking, hasn't been that great for many years. But I will again add that all of the polls right now, one, Trump's right. They do show him beating Biden, not by a lot, actually within 0.1% of the margin of error. So you got a 0.1% victory margin over President Biden when factoring in the margin of error. So that's not by a lot. You're beating him, sure. But the other polls actually show that Ron DeSantis, as I mentioned, is now beating you in the Republican primary. And I'm not talking about the New Hampshire poll. I'm talking about the latest national poll. The most recent one that's come out shows Ron DeSantis is the guy to beat. Trump's numbers continue falling in nationwide polling. Every poll that comes out is worse for him, and that's what Fox and Friends, for once, was trying to point out the truth. So like, hey, yeah, you won a straw poll with a group of MAGA hat-wearing Trump supporters. That's not surprising. I'm sure if you took a poll of me, of all of my family members, I'm going to have an overwhelming approval rating, right? Probably somewhere upwards of 90%, maybe even higher. But if you were to do an approval rating of me as a person with, everybody online, I'm going to guess it's going to be significantly lower, which is pretty much what happened with Donald Trump, right? You took a group of Trump supporters, asked them if they loved Trump while they're all wearing their MAGA hats. So of course you're going to say, yeah, I love him better than anybody else. Out there in the real world, though, Donald, things aren't looking so great for you. But once again, I will say, if you continue to only believe the flattering polls, the ones that are totally inaccurate, then that will increase your chances of wanting to run again in 2024, which, as all Republican strategists, lawmakers, and pollsters say, could absolutely tank the Republican Party's chances in this year's midterms. So keep looking at the bad polling, Donald, because if you trust that, it just might make it easier for you to destroy the Republican Party and kill their electoral chances this coming November. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share, but again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.